Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So, what was thought to be a terrible week for Republicans as far as multiple election losses goes, uh, this week is actually ending off on a positive note. We got three stories to go through. First one, I'm sure we all have heard of. We are talking about specifically Nancy Pelosi, the longtime Democratic House Representative from San Francisco, keeping that seat blue since, I want to believe, the 80s. But ultimately, and obviously, the House Speaker, the first female House Speaker, she has retired. She is going to retire, finally, after, once I thought she was done being Speaker, she passed down the gauntlet to, I want to believe, was it? Yeah, I think it was obviously, I think it was 2022. Yeah, that was 2022. And she passed it to Hakeem Jeffries, discount Obama. And how discount Obama ended up playing it, you can imagine. I thought, she's done. She's out of the hoops. But nope, she had to stay into the 2024 cycle. She played her role when it came to specifically looking into, blanking out. Specifically when it came to the Biden cover-up. And obviously, they trying to get Joe Biden out of the race. And you'll be mistaken if you didn't believe that Nancy Pelosi was still pulling the strings to this day. Of course, she would miss her insider trading. But don't worry, we got a trench coat, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has turned the other corner, unfortunately. It looks like she will be taking Nancy's place. But, a lot of people are like, okay, this is great news. Nancy Pelosi's a pain in the in the rear, but was it, what are we to gain from this? Well, another cackling hand. That's all we're going to get. Because it's alleged that Nancy Pelosi's daughter, Christine Pelosi, who is just as unhinged, what makes her worse is she's younger. She is alleged to be running to replace Nancy Pelosi. Obviously, I would imagine that Nancy Pelosi would like her to run. It's her own daughter. And obviously, she's going to endorse her own daughter. It's pretty much common sense. Regardless, though, this really isn't our fight to win, it's San Francisco. It's the San Francisco district. This district is like 80% Democratic. The Republican gets a single digit there every single time. And it's nothing to get upset about. It's San Francisco. And we accept that reality, and we go and find other vulnerable seats. But this seat has long time been held by the P word, Pelosi. Since, if I can look it up here, Pelosi, since the beginning of her career, specifically assuming office as a representative in 1987, okay? And she transitioned districts. Like, she was represented. Oh, yeah. She didn't live here. The 5th district was in San Francisco. Okay? She was always in San Francisco. There was just renaming different districts. But, obviously, I'm not making this video about Nancy Pelosi's electoral history as much as we want to cringe about it. But, yes, the good news is she's gone, but it's not really good news because a lunatic is prone to poised to replace her. And in the Democratic primary, you specifically have, I think it's District 11. Yes. Finally, you're overdue. Retirement home, nursing home. Let's go. All right. Yes, you got a couple. You got two that have declared that Saikat Chakrabarti, and he's influential because he was the former chief of staff to the U.S. Representative AOC, and we will know that she will get the AOC endorsement. With that powerful endorsement, that could win Chakrabarti, or we'll just call it Saikat. How about that? Saikat, automatically he will win the nomination with that, allegedly. But you also got Scott Weiner, who is a woke white liberal from the 11th district in California, in the state Senate. So this is what you've got right now. You've got Connie Chan, who is a San Francisco supervisor. You've also got Cole Beatles, a singer who doesn't stand a chance, by the way. But, yeah, these are some important names. But obviously, Christine Pelosi is labeled a potential that has not publicly expressed, by the way. If she has publicly expressed, maybe she's talking to her mom about it, but keep her in mind that she very, very, very likely could be involved in this race also. So, yeah, there's nothing really to talk about other than, you're going to get another lunatic in California, and literally in California, in San Francisco, and we'll go from there. Going forward, afterward, you got the second best news of the day is also because Jared Golden is joining Nancy Pelosi in their nursing home. Although he is fairly young to retire, he is retiring. And it's a smart decision because he knows, despite an overperformance for Democrats this week, he knows this ain't going to help him. Because once he hit his bar, right? He hit his bar, and he would successfully explain that in his retirement. I want to believe he retired. I don't want to say false statements, but I would imagine he did, and he would, if you really want to speak common sense to your base, explain why are you not running to keep the seat blue, and the answer is, I can't keep it blue no more. I'm going to ruin my political career. It's political suicide. Let's be honest. How many points he dropped? He dropped 5.5 points in a matter of 2 years. That's devastating. Okay? And this is obviously a Trump district. So, and in the end, Golden managed to barely hold on by 0.55%. Now, if you can take a look at past elections, comparing past election. Okay, I want to. Oh, jeez, Louise. All right. I hate it when it does this. It gets stuck, but there we go. Yeah, you keep going forward. The margin, I want to believe, continues to grow. Although, the important thing is he's losing ground. And that's not good. That is not good. And he knows that he had a very, very successful time in office, at a time where, Trump, a lot of Trump districts were Democrat districts. I'm speaking directly in the regards to the 2018 United States House of Representative elections. They say, it's going to be a blue wave. Well, I'm not denying that Democrats can't pick up the House. I'm not denying that Democrats aren't going to have a good time in the House of Representatives. They very well could take the House of Representatives. But are they going to gain 50 seats? The answer is no. Because in order for Nancy Pelosi's party, she couldn't even carry 50 seats, and she only picked up 41 seats. And majority of those 41 seats were Trump districts. Okay, I wouldn't say majority, actually. Pardon my language. But you will notice and you will see some districts that are Trump won, okay? Like district's second, okay? Minnesota's 7th district sticks out to a lot of people. Even Wisconsin's 3rd district, although it's technically swing county, just a swing district, you wouldn't count, but these 2 Iowa districts, very Trump aligned. You also have this Arizona district. You got you got a district, although this includes mostly Salt Lake City. And then you got a Florida district. You got a South Carolina district. A lot of this was, okay, maybe results of Democrat gerrymandering in 2018. But, we have maps that are very favorable to the Republican Party this time around. Republicans, in fact, it is said to believe that Republicans, let's see here, 2026. Republicans are starting off yeah. Let's pull up 270 so we can get a better take of what we're dealing with. It is said that Republicans are starting off. Is this the fully resetted map? Okay, 211. Okay, as of this year, as of today, November 7th, 2025, Republicans are guaranteed to pick up at least 211. Not pick up, but win 211 seats. Okay? Democrats guaranteed to win 205. It jumped mostly due to that successful ballot measure, Proposition 50. You'll see a totally different California map, but however, you do notice changes to the map, like North Carolina has been added. North Carolina's 1st district has been gerrymandered, along with Ohio, which was actually legitimate because voters approved it in 2024. Macy Captor's getting out of office, and she might as well retire, just saying. Not sure about Jeff Hurd's district. Really, I'm not sure why they would characterize it as likely, but you see also you have, Emmanuel Cleaver's district is projected to go solid red at the end of the day. He's served 11 terms. So, yeah, despite this, Republicans are 6 seats ahead. Starting out with a 6-point net worth over Democrats. And really, it's the battle between these 19 seats. And I'm just saying, you think you're going to pick up a 50-seat net gain? I don't see how you can with a limit of 19 seats. And now what a lot of people were saying was, like, Real American Politics was saying that they could pick up the lighter seats. But look, there are only 5 light seats. 5 seats that are characterized as light. That is Michael Lawler's seat. You also have Zach Nunn's seat. And good luck with Macy Captor. I would eliminate that to 4. And Vicente Gonzalez's seat was gerrymandered to as much to make it a Republican. So you just have a chance to flip maybe 3 extra. So I would not get all, it's going to be a blue wave. I'm not joining the cult. I'm not joining the little party. I'm not jumping on the bandwagon, the blue bandwagon, and saying, it's a blue wave next year. It's a blue wave. Well, really, I'm looking at the data. I'm looking at the map, and I'm saying, okay, how are you going to pull this off? Okay, then, how are you going to pull this off? I'm not saying it's going to be a red wave. No way. There wasn't a blue wave in 2022. It was... And usually there's not a red wave or blue wave. Maybe 2002 was an exception, but usually it doesn't take off like that. We're going to pull this off. So that's something I'm really asking for Democrats. And you'll see that 270's labeled this as likely Republican. Jared Golden not running for re-election. And you can overall, we can go ahead and pull up the main district elections. All right. Yeah, I'm looking at Jared Golden's district. Yeah, Austin Thurald. How was he supposed to perform overall? Okay, in the general election, a lot of people were saying leaning Democrat overall, but you had polls that showed a very, very competitive race. I wouldn't say the polls were necessarily wrong. The last poll showed Golden beating Austin Thurald by like one. But ultimately, it was overall a success for Jared Golden. CNN Analysis got it right for the most part. But I'm looking at the counties here. Okay? Now, notice, this is a very good case scenario for Jared Golden. He won Franklin County. He's winning Trump counties. But notice it's not enough to actually win. Mostly because of the turnout here. Now, am I saying that there isn't going to be any turnout next year? No. Maybe this would have benefited Golden. But Jared Golden had ways into carrying Franklin County and Androscoggin County and this county right here and parts of Kennebec County, although I probably wouldn't have went to him regardless. These three counties, he had ways. Now, the new guy, who we got to figure out who our candidates are going to be for 2026, you got Matthew Dunlap, who is Maine's state auditor and former Secretary of State. He's declared his run for this race. And does he actually have a chance of winning? I don't know. You're seeing here already Paul LePage, who has been labeled controversial governor, by the way. The former governor is running for this district, guys. So if you think that for some silly reason that the state auditor is qualified as the governor, then you are mistaken. Paul LePage seems prone to actually flip this, and you're seeing 47% likely R, leaning R. Yeah, it's looking very, although, yeah, and LePage is still crushing Jared. Jared Poland's been looking at the polls. He's saying, if I'm getting destroyed by the former governor, who is very unpopular, by the way, you know it's not looking good. So I think this is going to be a pickup. But let's talk about our last news, our last good news of the night or of the week, and that is the official announcement that Elise Stefanik is officially running, okay? Elise Stefanik is running for governor. And just in time, because New York just elected a socialist communist mayor. And I wouldn't say a day after, but 2 days after, you have Elise Stefanik coming out, officially running and condemning Kathy Hochul in a devastating ad. I can even see if I can pull it up, actually. Let's see if I can pull up Black Conservative Perspective, because he has the ad. But yes, it's a viral ad, and I think most New Yorkers, conservative New Yorkers, and New Yorkers that just generally have been very nervous about Mondami are rejoicing with this news. Yes, you have to put up with the maniac in the mayorship for some time, but I would imagine Stefanik is going to start off with lots of momentum in this Republican primary, mostly due to the fact that, oops, this is the wrong one. Mostly due to the fact that lots of New Yorkers are showing nervous anxiety over Zoran Mondami and his election to New York and overall. So we'll go ahead and play this ad, and tells us about the Stefanik campaign as she released this ad after announcing her campaign. They're shouting tax the rich, by the way, not let's go Bills. But that's what's coping, greasy Kathy Hochul seems to think.
I can hear you.
Really?
Several days later, the Empire State is falling.
People are just going crazy over the amount of taxes here.
There's no question. New York is facing an affordability crisis.
Escape from New York, the tax base has been fleeing the Empire State.
Top leaders in New York City say a wave of migrant crime has washed over the city. Foreign gang members terrorizing innocent New Yorkers, complete disregard for the law.
And Kathy Hochul's failed policies are to blame.
Worst governor in America. Worst governor in America. Worst governor in America.
Kathy Hochul made New York the most unaffordable state in the nation, crushing families with sky-high taxes, unaffordable rent, soaring energy costs, and record-high grocery bills. And cozied up to a defund the police, tax-hiking, anti-Semitic communist.
We came here to remake this state in the image of our people.
I can hear you.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah. She's cooked. She's gonna get reelected. But the question is, by how much? I mean, it matters a lot. Margins matter. And that's why we were very upset about New Jersey, because margins mattered. But in New York, is a collusion really worth it? Democrats. I'm talking about socialist Democrats, the Mondami Democrats. Is a collusion even worth it? They've told us how much they hate the Democratic Party. You want to have a collusion with them? Like Kathy Hochul? You saw how much love they showed Kathy Hochul at in the ad. Do you think they're going to form a collusion with her? And not to mention, Mondami doesn't really like her like that. The left doesn't really like her like that. She's pure Democrat establishment. And if you ask me, her ground is shrunken. I would say, I would imagine she gets reelected by 52%. Republican gets 47%. I know that's a dull margin, but for New York standards, that's a red wave. And let's keep in mind, it's not about winning the governorship. We would love to win the governorship if we could, okay? But juggling so much resources into a New York governor's race is a waste of money, it's a waste of resources, and it's not smart, because it takes away from races that are very close and that actually need the money. But we can definitely incentivize in flipping 3 crucial seats, specifically in the state of New York. That is New York 3, New York 4, and the Central District right here. That's our goal. We want to flip those districts. Democrats flipped both of them last year, and it seems that Democrats are posed to have a historical awful year in 2022. There is no reason to get out and vote for Kathy Hochul unless the female fascist is so evil, as so they claim, and that we must go out and vote against what's her name. We gotta vote for Kathy Hochul. We absolutely have to do it. Oh, like, come on. So, and you also have a wave of opposition. You got the people that oppose the Hochul administration. You have the people that oppose the Mondami administration, the incoming Mondami administration in New York City. And although you will have the Democrat aspects of it, the blue wave, maybe you'll have some No Kings MSNBC viewing boomer show up. I doubt they would. They're the people that will support Kathy Hochul no matter what, though. She will get reelected. Okay? She will get reelected. It's really about how much, because how much she wins reelection will determine what happens down below, which I've talked about in last night's episode. I talked about the critical House races, specifically in District 3 and District 4, and the importance of those like Tom Swolsey's district and District 4, and of course that Central District, which is Democratic, upstate New York, it's that Central District, it's blue. This one right here, reasons, they have university here, university here, university over here, university here. Okay, Democrats ultimately gerrymandered the state to the max. No doubt about it. But it's winnable. It is absolutely winnable. 270 has this as leaning Democrat. I disagree, especially when you have a year like this, okay? A year like this, which is pretty, I'm going to get rid of these, okay? But perfect. Which is pretty unusual. And I'm specifically talking about New York, where you specifically have, yeah, sure, they're saying blue wave in the United States. They didn't say anything about New York. And you're going to have have a hard time convincing me that there isn't going to be a blue wave. There will be a red wave in New York, a big red wave. And red wave will be determined is about how many seats carried will be picked up in the state assembly, and how many seats in the House of Representatives are picked up. If we can pick up all 3 seats, great. And if Kathy Hochul wins re-election by like less than 5 points, that's a red wave. But you could clearly see that Mark Molinaro was ousted by Josh Riley by a very close margin, 51-48. But I'm just saying, hey, you might not get so lucky, Mr. Riley, because let's just say we trounce the turnout in Sullivan County. We take out Broome County, which is a winnable county, by the way. You can keep these 2 counties, Ulster County and Gressler County, I want to believe that is. But we get this Sullivan County to 60% because, you know, you do have a very strong Republican running for the gubernatorial ticket. You also have this going 60%. You joining these counties. Most of these going to 60%. That's a Republican victory. If Mark Molinaro could have gotten these counties into the 60% margin, he would have won. He didn't necessarily have to win Broome County in order to win the election. He just had to turn out these counties, and he didn't get them as much as he had initially hoped for. But anyway, I want to end this video, but before we do so, I want to just pull up a prediction map, which is, judging by the 2025 elections, maybe my prediction has changed a little bit, because there is a chance that, you take a look at New Jersey, Democrats have better chances of forming coalitions in deep blue states, and New Jersey, some say it's not deep blue anymore, but it historically and ancestrally is deep blue, and that was enough for them to form a coalition quickly. And when in regards to New York, but the motivation and the demand to form a coalition is low, okay? The desire to form a coalition to help Kathy Hochul is low. Although there will be people that will want to come out and vote for Hochul out of fear of Elise Stefanik. But Elise Stefanik is not like a Marjorie Taylor Greene, which Marjorie Taylor Greene is totally flipped and destroying her own legacy, which I'm not happy about. She is allegedly running for governor, which is why she is trying to repolish her nails that she had colored. This is a very cringy example, but I'm just saying, yeah, she's trying to do an extreme makeover, and it's not working. It's not going to work. I'm just, okay, because you already established your record, and you established your legacy. Now you want to pretend you're a totally different person. It's not going to work. I'm just saying that's not how it works, but she's going to try. This is how it goes. Maybe we'll do a video on Marjorie Taylor Greene, but if we're still talking about her. If we're done talking about Margie, we'll keep moving on then. But no doubt about it, New York City goes for Hochul. Stefanik and Hochul. Okay. You do have Westchester County. Rockland County will definitely go for Stefanik. Stefanik will probably carry Dutchess County. Okay. She's probably going to carry this county also. All right. Yeah, it's pretty much looking like the same prediction in my last New York video. The elections shouldn't really have any impact because I would assume this is going to be all state-run issues, and I think that theory still plays in. I thought New Jersey issues would matter, but there was a lot of anxieties over the big, beautiful bill in New Jersey. There was, and not to mention Democrats, Phil Murphy wasn't running, got put a better candidate in there. They didn't really know who Mikey Sherrill was, even though it was clear as day as she was another Kamala Harris. They decided to give her a chance, and they were willing to form a coalition over her. They're not going to be willing to form a coalition over Kathy Hochul and the anxieties over Zohran Mamdani. Zohran Mamdani, a lot of movement and momentum against him right now. that continues on, and it likely will, into 2026, you're going to see a lot of things happen in New York City. In New York. So let's all hope for the best. But anyway, what do you guys think in regards to this video? Let me know down below. And as always, I'll see you all in the next political episode.